So today's class is on vitamins, specifically on water-soluble vitamins. So what are these vitamins? These are organic compounds which are required in very small amounts in our food to perform a specific biological functions for normal maintenance of optimum growth and health. So this is the vitamin which is required for a very optimum amount in very optimum amount. So basically there are two types of vitamins, fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. So these water soluble vitamins, they are a complex of vitamin B and some another solubles. The another one is the fat soluble vitamins on which we have talked previously. So basically under those water soluble vitamins, the thiamine B1, riboflavin, that is B2, niacin, that is also called as B3, B5 is the pantothenic acid, B6 pyridoxine, and B7 is the biotin. So these hormones, these vitamins, these are the energy releasing water soluble vitamins. But some of the water soluble vitamins are also acts on hematopoietic action. So these are folic acid and cyanocobalamin. So the cyanocobalamin is also known as vitamin B12. So if we'll talk about the water soluble vitamins, then they are heterogeneous group of compounds and they are differed only in their structure. I mean to say, chemically they have some different structure to the others. So one thing that is the solubility in water. This is the common feature among the all water soluble vitamins. They are easily absorbed in the system and get assimilated to the vital organs. They also uh, stored in the body very quietly, except the vitamin B12. They are also readily excreted in urine whenever there is excess amount of these water soluble vitamins are present in the dietary product, then the excess of these vitamins will be excreted from the urine. So also as per the biochemical reactions, they form coenzymes so as to act on some other metabolism. So if we specifically take this vitamin C, that is also known as ascorbic acid. So the isolation of this vitamin C was carried out the very first by Zilwa during the 1970 to 1927. So this Zilwa, he obtained the highly potent substance and noted this as a reducing property. So in 1928, what happens? This Saint Georgi, these isolate an acid with strong reducing properties that is extracted from the cabbage, adrenal glands, and oranges. So at that time, he called it hexuronic acid. Again, in 1933, Vogue and King, they isolate vitamin C in crystalline form, that is from the lemon juice. So this vitamin C was named ascorbic acid in 1933 because they have the properties of anti-scorbutic property. So this ascorbic acid is a water-soluble vitamin and it plays an important role in animal and human health and disease. So basically the sources of this vitamin C is found abundantly in citrus fruits, gooseberries, guava, melons, sprouting seeds, leafy vegetables, spinach, cauliflower, cabbage, tomatoes, and drumstick. So if we will talk about the amount. So to up to which extent it is necessary for an human different human pattern. So as per infant, it is needed for 35 mg. For children, 40 mg. Adults, it will just increase up to 45 mg. For pregnant women, it is needed 60 mg. And for lactating women, it is for 80 mg. So as it is, it also moves the requirement of this ascorbic acid to the animals also. So regarding the biochemical functions, mostly the important function of this ascorbic acid is to go reversible oxidation. Okay. So basically what this does, this vitamin C, this plays an important role in formation of collagen. It also acts as coenzyme. So thereby they facilitate the cross linkage of collagen fibers and increase the strength to the cells and the tissues. It also helps in the formation of bone, and as you like this, it also plays a role in iron and metabolism of hemoglobin. So this metabolic reaction of tryptophan, tyrosine, folic acid, and cholesterol. For the metabolic reactions of these things, vitamin C is also very much essential. So it also enhances the synthesis of immunoglobulins and increase their phagocytic action. So regarding the antioxidant capacity, it has a strong biological antioxidants. So it can prevent from the excess formation of any reactive oxygen species, or if there is any oxidation in the cell, it will act as antioxidant. So if we talk about the biosynthesis and metabolism, so many animals can synthesize this vitamin C from glucose, and that will be through via uronic acid pathway. So if we talk about the man or other primates like guinea pigs and bats, they cannot synthesize ascorbic acid due to the deficiency of L-gluconolactone oxidase. So for the deficiency of vitamin C, or they could not reform or synthesize this vitamin C in their body. So for the necessary, whatever the requirement of ascorbic acid for their normal metabolism is required, this have been taken out through some other source. So this oxidation of ascorbic acid is rapid in the presence of copper. Hence, vitamin C becomes inactive, and whenever there is a preparation of food in will be made through the copper vessel, the thing which comes and the formation of this ascorbic acid may occur. So basically what happens, the oxidation of the oxidation of आवाज आ रहा है, म्यूट कर लो, म्यूट एक बार म्यूट कर लो रोहन. So oxidation of this ascorbic acid is rapid in the presence of copper. So it is said that if any of the food item or the dietary supplement having the excess of vitamin C should not be kept in the copper vessel, because the chances of oxidation is maximized. So regarding deficiency manifestation, so it will lead to scurvy, and it is characterized by spongy and sore gums. So it also acts on the loose teeth. It may allow the swollen joints, anemia, fragile body vessels, delayed wound healing, hemorrhage, and osteoporosis. So as you also know that this ascorbic acid has a very important role in the synthesis of collagen. So if there is deficiency of vitamin C or the ascorbic acid, it will leads to defective collagen synthesis. Also, a term is there, corkscrew. This is the related with hair pattern with tiny bleeding points around the orifice of a hair follicle. It is very rare, but may be occur. Another term is Udilex. It is related with the large and spontaneous bruises in lower extremities. It is also a condition which is very rare to see. The another term is Tumor-filled zone. So this is a classic histologic picture of bone in scurvy. So these are the some manifestations which can be occur during the deficiency of ascorbic acid. So regarding the oral manifestation, so whenever there is deficiency of this ascorbic acid, the mouth or you can say the oral part will also be affected. So as per their case, the gums will be swollen and spongy, especially the interdental papillae. So that's why this ascorbic acid is so much important in condition of dentist. Okay. So as per this during the severe cases, these hemorrhages to periodontal membranes, they are followed by loss of bone and loosening of teeth because the gums are become swollen and spongy. So they can't communicate or connect the teeth. So that's why their the teeth will become loosened. So this is the thing. Okay. So if we take this about hypervitaminosis, mean to say if anyhow the proportion of vitamin C will become more in the diet of an animal, then what will happen? Definitely, uh, these the biological things. These are needed in an animal body in a very short amount or small amount. So if there is any excess of these things, that will definitely generate the toxin in the body. So this dihydroascorbic acid is a condition you can say it occurs when this oxalate from any metabolite of vitamin C and oxalates they have implicated in the formation of kidney stones. So basically the stones in the kidney is 95% may be due to the excess of vitamin C. So we should have to maintain the dietary supplementation of ascorbic acid in a limited amount or whatever the amount of the optimum amount. So mega doses of vitamin C is be used during the common cold or wound healing condition because this vitamin C also act as an antioxidant. So to overcome from these metabolic diseases or from the any deficiency of lack of this power energy, vitamin C will be used. So this ascorbic acid, they provides health benefits. However, the potential toxic effects of this vitamin C in most or more amount may be ignored. So next will be the vitamin B complex. So as you know, this vitamin B complex consists of a so much uh, range, very starting from B1 to B12. So basically, what is this B complex? So this B complex, these are the group of vitamins which comprises a large number of water-soluble vitamins, and they are essentially needed to justify the life or for a normal maintenance of health. So the lowest form of yeast and bacteria to the highest form, that is the man. So this statement means that this B complex is needed to a lowest things to the highest thing. That is very starting from the east to the man. So all they have to maintain their normal health condition or to maintain their growth. The very first thing is the vitamin B complex. So apart from being this nutritional, that is a vitamin B complex, especially what they occur, they form coenzymes to certain important intracellular enzymic system. So they are about individual components, and most of them are synthesized by the microbial flora. So here the term is using microbial flora, mean to say the animals or the species which are having microbes in their gut system, they can synthesize itself this vitamin B complex. Otherwise, the other types of species have to fulfill this condition or this vitamin B complex from any external source. So now the components of the vitamin B complex, these are vitamin B1, B2, 3, B5, 6, 7, B12 and folic acid group. So if we talk about specifically this thiamine, so these are the vitamin B1, also known as anti-beriberi or anti-nudity vitamin. So this thiamine is basic and heat stable. So these are specific coenzyme, that is the thiamine pyrophosphate. So it is associated with carbohydrate metabolism. So this thing should be noticed, and these are also readily soluble in water. They are stable in their acidic medium, and they can be, this thiamine can be destroyed if we allow to autoclave at 120 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. So these also can be destroyed if it will be placed in any alkaline medium. So if we talk about the dietary sources, cereals, pulses, oil, seeds, nut, yeast, and these are the very good sources. So thiamine is mostly concentrated in the outer layer of cereals. So it also present in animals' foods like pork, liver, heart, kidney, milk, etc. So the biochemical function of this thiamine is because it is being act as a coenzyme, that is a thiamine pyrophosphate or co-carboxylase. So it is initially intimate the connection with the energy releasing reactions whenever there is the metabolism of carbohydrate occurs. So this thiamine pyrophosphate, this also plays an important role in the transmission of nerve impulse. So basically this is because this thiamine pyrophosphate in the transmission of nerve impulse, it is required also by the acetylcholine synthesis. So the iron translocation of neural tissue is covered or initiated with the acetylcholine basically. So for the formation of this acetylcholine, this thiamine is also required. So if there is any deficiency, then it will leads to cause various conditions like loss of appetite, weakness, constipation, nausea, mental depression, peripheral neuropathy, irritability, like this. So basically what happens, this B1 deficiency is seen in populations consuming polished rice as their staple food. So we should not recommend so much the polished rice in our balanced diet because somehow it will act as for the manifestation of this thymine. So if we talk about the manifestations, the deficiencies, that is the beriberi, and it can be divided in three times, three parts, like wet, dry, or infantile. So basically, this beriberi is the condition of molding of the long bones, okay, including some edema on the faces, legs, or trunk. So basically, one thing more that is relevant with this manifestation of thymine is that s- increase in systolic and decrease in diastolic blood pressure. I mean to say, somehow it is directly related with the blood pressure. So in infants, especially sleeplessness, restlessness, vomiting, or convulsion, so these things can be happen. So the second vitamin B complex form is vitamin B12, and it is basically known as riboflavin. So it has the coenzymes, that is flavin mononucleotide. So this takes part in a variety of cellular oxidation as well as reduction reactions. So it is basically involved in carbohydrate, lipid, protein, and purine metabolisms. So besides this, the riboflavin have also a very important role in the electron transport chain. So these enzymes that use flavin coenzymes are called flavoproteins, and these flavoproteins, these contain especially the metal atoms. So they are also known as metalloflavoproteins. So the dietary sources are the milk products, meat, eggs, liver, kidney, and in plant form, cereals, fruits, vegetables, and fish. These are the moderate sources. So if there is any deficiency, then it will include chillosis or glossitis and dermatitis. So chillosis, I think you know this glossitis and dermatitis. That is related with the specific organ inflammation. So this riboflavin deficiency, it is uncommon, and this chronic alcoholism that are more susceptible to this vitamin deficiency. So it will also lead to nasolabial seborrhea, vascularization of cornea, and scrotal dermatitis. So dermatitis is a very basic deficiency which occurs if there is any manifestation or deficiency of this riboflavin. So regarding oral manifestations, glossitis is important. That is a filiform papillae which becomes atrophic, while the fungiform papillae become engorged and mushroom shaped. So it will result in magenta colored tongue and chiliosis, that is the ocular lesion. So the next one is a niacin. So that is also known as Allegra preventive factor of cold birth. So the coenzymes of niacin are synthesized by the essential amino acid, that is the tryptophan. Tryptophan is also a major precursor of melatonin, as might you have read. So these coenzymes, this NAD plus and NADPS, are involved in a variety of oxidation reduction reactions. So the essential amino acid, that is the tryptophan, these can serve as a precursor of the synthesis for the coenzymes of nicotinamide. So again, the dietary sources are the uh, yeast, liver, whole grain, pulses, and the moderate sources are the milk, fish, eggs, and vegetables. So again, the deficiency of this niacin will result in the term known as pellagra. So the disease pellagra, it involves skin or GI tract, and so it also acts on the CNS. So the symptoms are commonly referred to as 3Ds, because whenever there is any deficiency occurred due to niacin, then basically three terms will occur, and the basically fourth will be due to the previous three one. And these three Ds are dermatitis, diarrhea, and dementia. And if we will not look after these disorders, then the animal may lead to death. So again, they will come. So the symptoms of dementia that will include anxiety, irritability, poor memory, and insomnia. So if anyone having the problem of these symptoms, then he must or she must to lead to the niacin diet in their thing. So regarding the oral manifestations again, bald tongue of sandwich, raw beefy tongue, mucosa becomes fiery red and painful, and salivation becomes profuse. So to maintain this oral manifestation, niacin is again very much essentially required. The next vitamin B5 is the pantothenic acid. So these are also known as chick antidermatitis factor or filtrate factor. And basically it is widely distributed in nature. They also have the coenzyme, that is OA. So it is a central molecule involved in the all metabolisms like carbohydrate, lipid, and protein metabolism. So basically, this pantothenic acid, they are the carrier of activated acetyl or acyl groups. That's why the coenzyme is known as OA. O stands for coenzyme and A stands for acyl groups or acetyl. So again, the dietary sources are the plants and animals, especially egg, liver, meat, yeast, and milk. So this deficiency of pantothenic acid will lead to pain and numbness in toes. Sleeplessness and fatigues are features. The next one is the pyridoxine. So it is also known as vitamin B6, and it is used to collectively represent the three compounds, basically pyridoxine, pyridoxal, and pyridoxamine. So the active form of vitamin B6 is a coenzyme pyridoxal phosphate. So this PLP is closely related with the metabolism of amino acids. So it is directly linked with the metabolism of amino acids. So the synthesis of specialized products which are used as a normal, you can say, hormone for the activeness of any hormone which is released during any certain period of time. That is serotonin, histamine. So for especially for these two, the synthesis of this pyridoxine is very much needed because they are totally controlled with the coenzymes of amino acids and are dependent on pyridoxine. So this PLP, the coenzyme, it participates in reactions like transamination, decarboxylation, deamination, translocation, and condensation. I mean to say, whatever the things which is required for the gaining of energy from the cellular level, this pyridoxine is very much required. So again, the egg yolk, fish, milk, meat, they are the very much rich in the B6. And if we talk about the deficiency, then again this pyridoxine deficiency is associated with neurological symptoms like depression, irritability, nervousness, and mental confusion, because these are termed along with, or these are related with the hormones or the enzymes like serotonin or other neurotransmitters like. So this will also lead to convulsion and peripheral neuropathy. So these symptoms, they are related to the decrease in the synthesis of biogenic amines, especially serotonin, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. So you can understand that these things are very much needed. This pyridoxine is very much needed for a normal phenomenon or the metabolism of an animal. So this demyelination of neurons, it will also absorb during the deficiency of pyridoxine. And the decrease in hemoglobin levels, it will associated with hypochromic microcytic anemia. So I think you have might be learned about this microcytic anemia. So this is also a type of loss of hemoglobin that is due to the loss of vitamin B6. The next one is biotin. So this is also called as anti-egg white injury factor or vitamin B7, or somehow it is also known as vitamin H. It is being a sulfur containing B complex vitamin. So this biotin, it will act as a carrier of CO2 in carboxylation reactions. So the dietary sources are, again, they can get from the animal and plant foods like liver, kidney, egg yolk, meat, tomatoes, grains, etc. So this the deficiency of this biotin will lead to anemia, loss of appetite, nausea, dermatitis, glossitis, etc. So this biotin deficiency, that is not so much common, but it can be happened if the concentration is whatever the concentration which is required for the to maintain the normal health issues. If we can't get it, so basically what happens? It is distributed in foods, and that will also supplied by the intestinal bacteria. Therefore, it is not required. But anyhow, if the metabolism is not working properly, then the deficiencies of biotin can be occur. The next thing is the folic acid that is abundantly found in green leafy vegetables, and these are required to maintain the normal blood concentration. To maintain the normal blood concentration. So it is also important for one carbon metabolism. Two metabolism of carbon, the folic acid is very much needed. Also, it synthesizes amino acids, purines, and the pyrimidine, especially thymine. So this tetrahydrofluoric, this is the coenzyme of folic acid, and it is actively involved in the carbon metabolism. So this tetrahydrofolate, this serves as an acceptor or maybe donor of carbon units in a variety of reactions involving amino acid and nucleotide metabolism. So again, the dietary sources are the green leafy vegetables, whole grains, cereals, liver, kidney, yeast, and eggs. So what happens if there is any deficiency of folic acid will occur? Then the very first thing, because it is concerned with the synthesis of purine and pyrimidine, especially of thymine. So if there is any decreased production of purines and DTMP is observed, then it means that there is a deficiency of this folic acid occurs. So what will happen if is decreased production of purine and DTMP is observed? Then the very first thing will that it will impairs the synthesis of DNA. And if the DNA synthesis will block or it will incomplete, the maturation of the erythrocytes will be slowed down and it will lead to macrocytic red blood cells. So aminopterin and methotrexate are the structural analogs of this folic acid, which are used in treatment of many type of cancers like leukemia. So these drugs, they just do the formation of THF. Hmm. So it will blocks or it will block the formation of THA. So the DNA synthesis is impaired. Okay. If this folic acid will not taken in a proper or in appropriate amount or dose, then we can't impair the DNA synthesis. So to maintain this thing, the folic acid is very much needed. So like this, if the oral manifestation, if you talk about, then the glossitis is the very first thing. The filiform papillae, that will disappear first. But in the advanced cases, this fungiform papillae are lost and the tongue becomes smooth and fiery red in color. So the next one is the cyanocobalamin. So it is also known as anti-pernicious anemia vitamin, and this is the extrinsic factor of Castle. So it is derived from the cobalamin and cyanocobalamin. So due to the presence of cobalt and cyanide groups. So that's why it been named as cobalamin from cobalamin, and cyanocobalamin means cyanide group, cyanocobalamin. So this vitamin B12, this helps in the formation of labile methyl groups, and it will synthesis the thymine, and therefore the nucleic acid synthesis along with the folic acid will create the normal hemopoiesis process. So for synthesis of myotonin from homocysteine, that will may only due to the presence of cyanocobalamin. So it is also very much required, and in the dietary process, dietary sources are can be gained from this plant foods. So again, if we talk about the deficiency, then the most important is the pernicious anemia, that is characterized by low level of hemoglobin or the decreased number of erythrocytes. So basically having the decreased erythrocytes level or the hemoglobin levels, the neurological manifestation may occur. So it will lead to degeneration of myelin sheath and peripheral nerves. So by this, various neural aspects can be occurred. So again, the oral manifestation, if we talk about the beefy red tongue with glossopyrosis, glossitis, and glossodynia. So this Hunter's glossitis or Moeller's glossitis, this is similar to bald tongue of sandwich, which have been seen in the PPTs of the slide of Pellagra. So basically, this is the basic things which should be required. So some points which we have to note down, that is, the thymine is practically present in all plants and animal tissues, which are commonly used as our food. But the thymine this content the foods is destroyed with improper cooking. I mean to say, when the cooking is continued for a longer time, longer duration in a very high temperature, then the thymine concentration may be destroyed. Regarding riboflavin, it is also widely distributed throughout the plant and animal kingdom. And the amino acid tryptophan, these are present in the dietary protein, which convert into niacin in the body. So almost 60 mg of tryptophan produces 1 mg of niacin. This is the basic thing. So tryptophan, these are present in the foodstuffs, also provides additional niacin. So these are the, you can say, the basic things which is required. So this will lead to end this topic. Okay. So